Hey everybody, today we're talking about Achilles tendonitis. I said yesterday we're going to start talking about Achilles tendonitis today. We're talking about foot and ankle problems. This is number 2. First one was plantar fasciitis, and now we're talking about Achilles tendonitis. It's going to be a little bit longer today, but I'll try to keep it short. Fun facts about the Achilles tendon. It is the strongest tendon in the body. Every time you take a step, whether you step long stride, short stride, whatever, you bring your toes up, you're using that Achilles tendon to stretch. Every time you lower it down, the Achilles tendon's working as well. So every time you take a step, that Achilles tendon is working. Signs and symptoms of Achilles tendonitis. You can have inflammation. Pain can be dull to severe. You're going to have, or you could have, a thickening of that tendon, especially on something that's chronic or long-term. You're going to move slower. It's going to be painful. So you're going to move a little bit slower. Another fact is 8 players per year in the NFL have an Achilles rupture. And Achilles tendonitis that can get chronic, that can cause little micro tears in there that could rupture. This is the worst case scenario, is a rupture. So you can have a rupture if you don't get it taken care of. If there's little micro tears in there. But 8 players a year in the NFL, I thought it was a neat fact. They have ruptured Achilles tendons. It's upside down. Let's try this one. I didn't flip it before I wrote it. I wrote it normal. So how do I get Achilles tendonitis? So if you increase your activity after a lot of inactivity, January's coming up, we're going to start working out again, we're going to start getting healthy. So if you're sedentary like I am, like most people are in the wintertime, and you want to increase your activity, you can get Achilles tendonitis. If you add miles, if you're a runner or a jogger and you add miles or you add hills to your routine, you could get Achilles tendonitis. Sudden start and stop sports like tennis, basketball, could result in Achilles tendonitis. If you have change in footwear, so if you put on new shoes or you have old shoes, so if you wear new shoes, you probably ought to wear them a little bit before and get them broken in before you start wearing them long distances and stuff. If you have old shoes and the arch supports broke down, you need to get new shoes, but you don't need to get new shoes and go run 8 miles when you used to run in 4. If you have weak calves, if we talked about the stretching of the calves yesterday, so if your calves are weak and they're not strong enough to support that Achilles tendon, you can get some tendonitis. A flat arch or improper support, so you got to make sure, we talked about yesterday with plantar fascia too, make sure that you have that arch supported with proper shoes, proper supports, and make sure you have the right shoes in there. And then trauma. So yeah, you can have a football incident like we talked about with a rupture, but you can have some trauma with a less severe than a rupture. But you can have trauma which is causing that inflammation. So how do you prevent it? Well, you need to warm up. A lot of people don't do that. They just go straight to the gym and they go at it. There's no warm up. If you're over 25 years of age or over 20 years of age, I would say warm up for everybody, but especially if you're in your 40s like me, I warm up for a long time before I get going. Stretch. You need to make sure you stretch correctly. I talked yesterday about the Achilles stretch for the gastroc and the soleus. One crosses the knee joint, one doesn't. If you have questions about that, find my video from yesterday. Proper shoes, which you talked about. You want to increase activity slowly. So if you're running 4 miles a day, you don't want to go out and run 8 the next day. You want to increase to maybe 5 miles or 4.5 miles and then go on and on. If you're a runner, you need to change your shoes every 3 to 4 months. Or if you're someone who works on hard surfaces, 3 to 4 months of repetitive motion of walking, you need to change your shoes every 3 to 4 months. Vary your exercise routine. So instead of just doing the exact same thing, I think there was an article posted where people that did different activities were less likely to tear their ACL. I posted it a while back. But you change your exercise routine because your body will adapt to whatever you're doing, and then you can weaken it instead of working all the other muscles around certain joints. So if you play basketball, you want to make sure you're doing speed and agility. You want to make sure you're doing strengthening. You want to make sure you're doing not the same stuff every single day. So vary your exercise routine. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about ankle sprains, inversion sprains, or anterior talofibular ligament sprain. I'll explain all that tomorrow. Like this video, share this video, please. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Thank you.